there, Joel.
I'm turning that back on, man. Like, and it's funny because we used to do that. We used to like cut it off, and then like we get into these deep conversations. I'm like, they're great outtakes at one point, but
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Yeah, I'm actually curious, and I want to ask this to the group because I have so many like questions about AGI, right? Like we're in this one piece of AI, the AI revolution now. Then it's like other pieces that are on their way. Like right now, I feel like we're like in the agentic AI space right now. And then like Chad, to your point, you were talking about AGI and then ASI. Chris, Chad, like what are your? I have my own thoughts. What are your thoughts around that stuff?
I mean, think of it like this, man. Like right now, just think about it in the real world. Like somebody goes to get a degree in like accountant, and you hire an accountant. Imagine you hire a person that can do any job that you want, right? So think about that. Right now it's very fast, very task based. I need you to solve this problem. I need you to solve all problems. This one agent can solve all problems. Think about an employee that can do anything you want him to do, and do it on his own without you actually prompting it. So I want you to be profitable. I want you to create a profitable model for me, and just go ahead and do what you got to do, and let me know and deposit the money to my account. I'll see you in 2 years.
There lies the issue, right? I'm going to give my agentic AI my information to make payments for me, bro.
Yes, yeah.
You're going to do that?
Yeah, I want you to make payments. I want you to make money for me. Let me know if there's any problems. Reach out to me.
What's the other side of that?
Again, that's the ethical part. That's the part that the borders and the things that we need to think about. Because hey, I didn't say do it ethically, so maybe I'm going to rob people, right?
Yeah, there could be bad actors jumping into that. I mean, it's like just like anything else. It's unregulated. So the agentic AI, it's really interesting because there isn't regulations. We talked about that, right? There's very, very, very little regulations right now. Everybody wants to make regulations. Everyone knows it has to happen. So my question is if it gets to be AI's running on its own, okay? And then legislation comes in retrospect for the things that are already being developed. Like it's like we're always going to be catching up to the developments. But if legislation comes in or if restrictions come in, there's always going to have to be a human in the loop. And I talked about this a little bit at a recent conference.
Yes.
Is that human in the loop? I don't think humans will ever let AI be on its own. I think there will always be humans in the loop, so there'll always be some sort of control. I think dreaming of it being, an entity of some kind, I think we can dream of that, but I don't think we want that as a world, as a population, as a species. We don't.
Some people do. I think some people do want that, Chris.
I think that the people making it and selling it, sure, I think they do. And it's a dream. It's a good dream to have. Is say, hey, I can have this entity develop on its own, think on its own, act on its own. But there's always going to be somebody saying, how do we regulate that? There will always be, because humanity always controls whatever we build. Yes. We always have. And I don't think that'll change because it's built into our DNA in a way. So that's my thought. That's all.
So I'm actually curious from a healthcare perspective, outside of the one thing that we talked about earlier, what are the other gaps that you're seeing where this could be good and bad in healthcare? Like, where are those gaps at?
I'll start with this. I'll just do a respiratory one, right? So just something as simple as when I listen to breath sounds, what I think are crackles, you may think are is coarse, so you may say that it's wheezing, and Chad may say diminished, and you may say it's normal. It's totally based off my ears and my interpretation. AI could take sound and make it into words. AI can actually take that sound and tell you exactly what it is, so everyone's consistent and no one gets misdiagnosed because my ears aren't great this morning, or I got a cheap stethoscope and you got a really good one that costs $200 and I got the $50, the $5 Fisher Price, my first stethoscope. So it's like something as simple as that to like reading graphics. Another great example that I use for, back in the day when I first started, when I did an EKG, because we had to do them in respiratory, I had to look at it, read the EKG, kind of EKG, know what it is, and then write down what I thought. And then if I thought it was something dangerous, call a physician. Now you put it on the machine, it tells you exactly what it is.
Is it accurate?
It's accurate most of the time. Yeah, most of the time.
So what happens when it's not?
You still got to send it to the doc, but it lets me know if to panic or not. And it's accurate with the panic ones, right? Because they're pretty there's a standard, EKG rhythm, and then there's the ones when someone has a problem, and they actually look significantly different.
Yeah, I
So if
saw.
you think about like algorithms, for example, so most stock trading right now is algorithmically driven, and artificial intelligence is just accelerating this. And I think if we go back even what now, Obama years, so 15 years ago or so, on social media, somebody hacked his account, and I don't remember what he posted, but it caused him trillions of dollars of trading on the stock market by one tweet. That was artificial. That was early days of artificial intelligence algorithms determining what should happen to stocks based on a presidential statement. So if we think about the dangers there, right, we're always going to have those dangers. Out there is that the what ifs, and so I think we're always going to regulate. But anyway, that was a little bit of an off topic tangent there.
So
But you
so random. Did you guys see the new Superman?
Yes, I
yeah,
Did you see that one part in Superman where they were carrying him to like the dimensional jail,
Yeah,
and you see all the monkeys
yeah,
typing?
yeah.
So I'm always thinking about like, not necessarily that, but I'm always thinking about how maybe like artificial intelligence, like bots, are going to be manipulating the
It's
market.
it is already
It's already
happening
happening.
with scammers, right? The
yep,
scammers thing is going exponential because now
huge.
AI is actually able to replicate people's voices. So they call your grandmom and say, "Hey, this is your son. I'm stuck on some corner. Can you send me $50?"
Yep.
And imagine enough bots, agents doing this to a bunch of people. If you have a 1% hit rate over 450 million people at $50 a pop,
Yeah.
it adds up.
I'm the wrong parent for that. I'm like, you got yourself in that. You need to get yourself out. Listen,
I'll tell you one thing that came up, and I don't know if y'all caught it or not, because this is the telltale, and I thought this is what we need to hear, this is what we need to see, which is ChatGPT came out with a model. It's for education. So this is something that I think is, if you look at it beyond healthcare, it could be applied to all academia in general. And that is, instead of the models coming out and just answering questions for you, because currently that's majority of the world is using language models on a daily basis. I think there's 700 million users per week of ChatGPT. That's pretty outstanding. 700 million. I'd like to have that business. So what it's doing now, though, is something that we've needed, which is that if I ask a question, it doesn't give me an answer in an education model. What it does is say, tell me what you think. So it engages critical thinking that we were afraid to lose using artificial intelligence, using language models. So when I saw this and I read it and I watched the demo, I thought, hallelujah. Like, it is now putting it back onto the person to learn through the process. It's not just answering, it's not spitting out something real, fake, or in between, or hallucinations. It's actually engaging the other person. And I thought, this could be applied anywhere. So I talked to a gentleman at a store yesterday, and ironically, he's an engineer, and he's developing programs. One of his team is using artificial intelligence to train new engineers. And that's when we talked about that model. He's like, absolutely. It's really cool because he's using it to route people through training modules. And I thought, that's a good application right there. Outside of healthcare, inside of healthcare. When I proposed it to my committee chair, he's a physician for my research. He said, imagine what it can do in healthcare with all the residents and fellows and everybody in training. No longer will they just ask, what is this on this patient? If they do ask, it's going to return to them. What do you think it is? What would your process be? What are you eliminating in your decision making? It's starting to teach people. So you think about the proper uses of AI outside of healthcare, inside of healthcare, in an education setting. It could be unbelievable when you do that Q&A type of questioning versus just providing an answer.
Yeah,
right?
By the way, Chris's flex was a little too light. He's working on his PhD right now.
Man.
Let me help him fully flex on that.
Yeah, that's a major flex. Congratulations on that too.
Well, to just tell you guys how this week has been, my committee just accepted my proposal
Yes.
for research, and so I'm submitting for IRB this Sunday, and that will be massive. And it's measuring provider efficiency in healthcare. And I had to take it away from AI a little bit just through my committee, but there is a component of AI, and that's phase 2. So once I define efficiency, because it was undefined in healthcare, is we didn't know what efficiency was, we get a tool to measure it for the first time in healthcare ever. Never been done.
What?
Like this is going to be really because it's going to score providers and give them a number on how efficient they are.
Please remember the little people who are on
Yeah,
you on this podcast.
Yeah.
please don't let the AMA kill it and whatnot. So
No,
it's not
this is
available
going
to
to
the
be
public.
the next phase, though. The next phase, because I don't mind sharing, I love sharing, is to measure if artificial intelligence changes the efficiency scores.
Love it.
So once I develop the tool, validate the tool, I have to use a ton of statistics, which make my brain hurt. And then I go in and actually apply artificial intelligence to any organization and say, let's look at your scores now.
I
So
love
that's
it.
phase 2. After I'm done with school, maybe in December, we'll have a big party.
Absolutely.
Please remember the little
Well,
people on this
hopefully,
podcast.
I'll see you in Arizona, so we'll have a party regardless.
That's
Yeah,
good stuff.
in
That's good
December.
stuff.
So
Man, that's really good. And see, that's exactly identifying white spaces and potentially applying the technology. Chris, you make a gajillion dollars from something like that. Jesus.
So my professor said when he's a GI doc and he goes, "This is insane. This is incredible." He was so excited when we changed. What I tried to do was measure if AI was impacting healthcare. That's what my first. So I spent 15 weeks writing that, and I got shot down because they said you don't know what efficiency is. How can you measure it?
Right.
So then my professor jumped in. He runs the whole program. He's my mentor, my committee chair, and he said, "Chris, why don't we come up with a tool to measure it because it has never been done." And he's a physician. He's like, it drives me crazy when administration just says you're not efficient because you haven't seen enough patients today. And we both laughed and we said that's not a measure of efficiency. He said that's why we need to create a tool to measure it. And I will tell you, it's if we do it right and we get it done, actually. And he said you can monetize off of it.
You're going to change healthcare.
I'm
But
hoping.
I just want to take
hoping.
a moment to like recognize how powerful this technology really is, right? You and another physician came up, y'all saw a huge gap in inefficiency to create a standard for efficiency that can literally change and I get frustrated when people are like, "Oh my gosh, I don't know how to prompt ChatGPT."
yeah,
Yeah.
y'all learn how to use the tools.
Definitely.
Come
Y'all learn
on,
how to use the tools.
Chris, that is groundbreaking.
I'm
And
hoping so. It's
no, there's
hard.
no hope.
It's been-
There is no hope.
That is beautiful.
That is
Chris.
groundbreaking, right?
Definitely.
So how can we be in the position to tune everybody's brains that way, right? Especially when you're talking about, and I'm going to come at this from a perspective of black and brown folks, right? I feel like when I talk about video games, I feel like it's the great equalizer because it spans across so many other different industries, right? And it's even more, 10 times more with artificial intelligence because it spans over so many different industries and can create efficiencies in so many different industries where I feel like because we've been conditioned to be so, I'm just talking about specifically black and brown folks, and Joel and Chad, you guys can speak to this. I feel like we've been so conditioned to be so afraid of technology where we don't even want to click a button. Is that, and I think it's that bad. That's me personally though.
Well,
Yeah,
you
I mean,
mentioned.
you know,
Oh, go ahead, Chad.
Yeah, like technology. Unfortunately, just as you, from the race standpoint, I have been in technology 30 years, and I've probably had maybe 4 or 5 black people that have worked for me ever, which is not good, right? And part of it is, as you said, people are afraid of technology, and I don't know where that came from, and that's something that we can unlearn. But the beautiful thing is, everybody has this in their pocket, right? So
Yeah.
if we can reshape that mentality, that technology is not something to be afraid of, then when more people can be in technology.
All right, and Chris, I'll let you close on the second close.
I was just going to say, you guys talked about bias, and I feel like bias could be talked about for a long time but what I've taken a perspective on is as I learned about it, I dug into it, and I tried, throughout my research, it keeps popping up. Anytime you look at artificial intelligence, there is somebody that's raising the flag about bias, right? The sad and scary part, but also one that I think that we have to embrace is that our history is in bias. So everything we've published since the dawn of man has been biased.
Yes.
It's been culturally biased,
Yes.
and so therefore, to blame artificial intelligence for being biased, I caution people with. Because I say it's not artificial intelligence that's biased. It's us that is biased because we provide it with the
That's good perspective. That's
So,
great
so
perspective.
when people place a blame on something, I think, no, we've done it to ourselves because we publish with bias. We choose populations to study with bias. So artificial intelligence isn't biased. It's only using the information it's given, which is from us. So to undo bias and to expect an AI model to be unbiased would, it's like saying, well, let's change human history. Because it's going to take generations for artificial intelligence to become unbiased because we have to tell it what to think, what to do, and so forth, because it'll never change on its own. It's only using data we have given. So every medical study, every book written, history is unfortunately trying to be rewritten right now in a lot of different ways. And so I always like kind of reflect on that. I reflect and just basically say, hold on a second. Let's not blame AI for being biased. We are. We have to figure out a way to change that for the future.
Love it, Chris.
Listen, I'm
You might have
posting
to,
this.
you might have to add that. I mean, like, I don't know how
Yeah.
you gonna
It'll
put
be the
that in
first
there,
time
but
that we put one of our outtakes on, because that was a powerful 15 minutes for real.
yeah.